Hey, what's going on YouTube? Doing a review tonight of the FosPower, FosPower Emergency Weather Radio. It's Model A1 with a 7,400 hour megawatt portable power bank, USB, solar, hand crank charging, battery operated, SOS alarm, and flashlight for indoor and outdoor emergencies. So ordered this from Amazon. It was about $32 at the time of the video. Just looking to have something for emergency purposes only. So this is great just to keep around the house, in a bug out bag, any place that you might want to get some insights in terms of like weather and what's happening in the area. But also great, of course, even if you're just going camping and want some extra power. Quite versatile all around. So as we start to look at it, I think one of the things that really kind of drew me to it was the multiple forms of power. So they advertise as 5 different forms of power. So there's the solar panel on the top. There is room for some batteries on the back. There is then, of course, some micro USB charging, hand crank as well, and then there's an internal battery which you can also use. So I think one of the things overall is if you're looking for something that you know is going to be able to maintain some form of power, but also generate a little bit of power, whether it's old-fashioned hand crank or using some solar, I think this really does fit a lot of those particular needs. And again, this is the Model A1. Just one of the things that the heading itself from Amazon says that it's a 7,400 megawatt, and then the actual power bank itself says 2,000 milliamp hours. So for those of you who know the difference, please feel free to drop your thoughts down in the comments below about what the actual distinction is and sort of what the difference means between the two of them. But as far as kind of going into some of the particular specs here, so this does have the NOAA emergency weather broadcast access. So again, if you're using it for some type of a storm, be able to access it for all intents and purposes during power outages, etc. As far as the device itself, it supports 7 different bands. Also mention that it is USB. It's micro USB, so not USB-C for those of you who are preferable to that, as I think most of us are at this point in time. So one of the things that they sort of boast about is that after 1 minute of hand cranking, that will generate roughly 32 minutes of listening time. And so just kind of thinking about the benefits there. Certainly if it's cloudy, if it's nighttime, you don't have the ability to capture solar power, it's not charged. Again, a minute of cranking it will get you about 32 minutes of actual listening time. As far as the sort of dimensions and size here, so it's 6.2 inches by 2.9 inches tall, and then 2.1 inches widthwise. So as we actually start to kind of look at it, one of the things that actually I was really surprised with, and probably should have done better research myself, is when you lift up this solar power charger, it actually lights up. I'll probably blind the camera a little bit, but it's actually a pretty bright LED light that's on the underside of the solar charger there. So of course, close it, it will turn off. But I did find that to be just a nice additional feature. I think they call it like a book light. I'm not sure if you need that much brightness for reading or whatever the case may be, but again, it is something that I thought to be pretty good use of space to be able to put a flashlight there. There's also an additional flashlight coming out the front of the light there. So again, I think it's another cool option to have for an additional light source. The antenna on this is actually kind of interesting. The antenna actually will come right out of the back of it there. So I did notice earlier, I had this in the basement. Did have to kind of raise it up. It wasn't particularly getting a great signal. So depending on where you are, there's always the potential chance that it's not going to be the greatest reception. But again, your mileage will vary on that. Also comes with this wrist strap here. It's actually a pretty heavy duty carabiner for all intents and purposes. Not sure if this is something I'll keep on it. Probably will. It's not particularly heavy, but just an additional accessory to have. As far as the actual operations and functionality, so weather band, FM, and AM, there's your standard sort of off-on, which is also the volume button there, and then your ability to tune and change whatever particular stations you want to listen to. As far as the power source, so there's a toggle on the bottom here. This will take AAA batteries, so you can toggle to AAA. I right now do not have any of the batteries installed in it, but if you want to leverage that, you can. Otherwise, lithium ion, hand crank it, use the solar panel on top, and then get to listening to some music or the weather bands, whatever the case may be. The charger on the back, so you can also use this as an actual power bank to go ahead and charge your cell phones or other devices. And then there's micro USB on the side there. The actual crank itself then will pop right out here. So pretty good overall. I mean, I wouldn't say this is the sturdiest piece of plastic that I've ever felt on a radio before, but I do like that it tucks away quite neatly, and for the price, I think it's perfectly fine. It's a little bit of like a matte finish on the back, and the handle has a bit of a glossy finish. Not that that should particularly matter, but just for those of you who do care. On the bottom here are some of the specifics, just in terms of the different types of charging that it's capable of, and some temperature ranging, so 14 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, and for those of you not in the States, minus 10 to 60 degrees Celsius. As far as the charging temperature, it doesn't really vary too much from that, 0 to 45 Celsius or 32 to 113. So basically you can charge this in virtually any particular climate. That was pretty loud there, but there's an SOS panic button if you want to send that off. And then again, right, flashlight, some pretty tactile buttons as far as that goes. But yeah, so overall, what I would say is for under $35, I think this is a great addition to any particular bug out kit. Good to have for any power outages or emergencies. So would definitely recommend the FosPower Emergency Solar Powered Radio. Thinking about all the features, the different forms of power that you can generate from it. Not sure about longevity, just got this a few days ago. But feel free to let me know if there's other brands or versions of this that you prefer. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you do like it, great. If you don't like it, smash that dislike button twice. And appreciate your time. Thank you, and catch you on the next one.